right, should we get started?
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sue Juder, and I'm the Marketing Specialist here at Business Machine Technologies. I want to welcome all of you to the second episode in the second sessions of our Remote Works webinar series. Today, we're going to be reviewing cloud security. Before we begin, I just want to provide some quick info on our Remote Works webinar series. Every Tuesday at 12:30, we're going to be hosting a short webinar on a different topic. We'll highlight capabilities within that topic that will assist with your work from home efforts. The different sessions are going to be tied to a series or theme. The first three revolved around communications collaboration. The next three, which includes today's session, are tied to security. And then finally, we're going to review strategy. And when you sign up, again, for one webinar, you will automatically be enrolled for those in the remainder of the series. So those who are registered for today's event are already signed up for next week's session. So you have nothing to do. You will get a reminder, and then you just have to log on the same time next week. And the best news, again, all these events are free. They're all designed to assist with your work from home efforts. So we do encourage you to register and attend as many as possible. Now, before I turn the deck over to my colleague, I just want to, again, remind you today's session is being recorded, and everyone who has registered will receive a copy of the deck sometime tomorrow. So with that, we are going to start today's session on cloud security, and I'm going to turn the deck over to my colleague, Stu.
Thanks, Sue. So last week, we reviewed how to secure remote access to the office. Today, we're going to look at how to secure our cloud accounts and data. The Cloud Security Alliance is the world's leading organization dedicated to defining and raising awareness of best practices to help ensure a secure cloud computing environment. Here are their published top 5 cloud security threats for 2019. This list of threats affect cloud consumers as well as service providers. As consumers of cloud-based services, we can't do anything about numbers 3 and 4. It's solely up to the cloud service provider to protect against these threats. Through the rest of the presentation, I'm going to focus on tools and services to assist you with the threats that I've highlighted here. First, data breaches. Although cloud environments employ security measures, they still face the same threats as traditional networks. In fact, every agreement you sign with a cloud provider states it's up to your organization to implement a plan for protecting your data in the cloud. Data breach can expose sensitive customer information, intellectual property, and trade secrets, all of which can lead to serious consequences. So we will focus on what makes a good cybersecurity awareness training program. Second, compromised credentials. You'd be surprised how many security threats can be prevented by simply choosing a secure password. Conversely, Microsoft has some of the best security measures in place, but if your password is weak or compromised, it is all for naught. Companies that don't stress the importance of secure credentials are at a greater risk of being compromised. To help with this, we'll review how a password manager and two-factor authentication can help secure your cloud accounts. And lastly, permanent data loss. Although the chances of losing your data in the cloud are small, there have been some reports of hackers gaining access to cloud data centers and wiping all the data clean. More likely, a hacker gains access to your account and modifies or deletes data that you only discover 30 days after it's happened. This is beyond the term that the service provider holds the data, so it's lost. We will look at a third-party backup program that can help prevent against permanent data loss. First up is a key tool in protecting data, a cybersecurity awareness training program. As over 90% of breaches happen through phishing attacks, we see most of the companies we work with adopt a formal program. At BMT, we've partnered with KnowBe4 and include the service in our managed service offering. And so let's go through the components of a solid program. Baseline testing. With KnowBe4, you can do this for free. For 30 days, we can send a phishing test email once a week, and at the end of the term, report on the results. One pushback we typically hear is, oh, we don't need this. When my staff gets a suspicious email, they forward it to me. Well, every single time we've done a test, people are clicking on links they shouldn't. Some even enter data into web forms. Others open attachments. It's always an eye-opener. Interactive training that you can stop and start at your own pace has proven to be very helpful. There's a comprehensive 40-minute training, a condensed 20-minute module, along with scores of other focused modules, depending upon your role in the organization. Ongoing simulated phishing attacks. This is my favorite feature. As part of the program, a phishing test email is sent once a week. We install a phish alert button in everyone's Outlook. If your staff thinks email is suspicious, they can use that phish alert button. It gives them something to do. They're now part of the process. If it's a test email, they're told, congratulations, you spotted the test email. Thanks for helping keep the company secure. If it wasn't a test, the pop-up says, thanks for being cautious. This email has been forwarded to IT for review. And it moves it to their deleted items folder in case it was a mistake. At BMT, we set the emails to be forwarded to the anti-spam service so that service can update their filters. Finally, if the staff falls prey to that phishing email, they don't use the know before, they actually click on the link in it. They're brought to a page that admonishes them for doing so. Big bold letters, it says, think before you click. And that kind of instant feedback is really powerful. Any training program should have reporting so you can measure how you are doing. The service tracks failures and when staff have used that know before button to report on a test email. When someone joins the company and a user account is created for them, Know Before automatically enrolls them in the training through their Active Directory integration tool, which we set up. Finally, this isn't part of the program, but policies you set, for example, if someone's continuously clicking on links they shouldn't, they're really putting everyone's livelihood at risk. One of those clicks could allow a nasty case of ransomware. This staff should retake training, and if they still don't learn, well, then they need to be referred to HR. Some companies that we work with also track who's successfully reported the most test emails for the month, and they'll give them either a lunch voucher or a preferred parking spot. However you handle it, it's important for your staff to know that good cybersecurity is part of the company's culture. To protect against permanent data loss of data stored in Office 365, we recommend a service called Dropsuite. But you may be saying to yourself, isn't the cloud already backed up? I mean, what am I paying Microsoft for, right? Well, yes, but only the last 30 days are available. So let's talk about that for a minute. If I have a spreadsheet that I update once a quarter and it's stored in OneDrive or a Teams site, if something happens to that file, say I'm hit by ransomware and it's locked up, or a virus corrupts the file, or even if I make a mistake in the file and I save it without realizing it, I have 30 days to notice the issue with the file. Because after that, all my backed up versions are of the broken file. With Dropsuite, you can have a year or more of backups available to you to restore from. If you do need to restore a mailbox due to corruption or a hacker wiping data, all email is restored right back to the inbox. None of your subfolders are available. Of course, with Dropsuite, your email is restored exactly the way it was previously stored. Finally, the restore process, right, can take 8 to 24 hours just to start. Microsoft gets a ticket, it gets assigned out to a group, they've got to get onto the case, and we've seen it go as long as 8 to 24 hours before they start data starts coming back into the inbox. So again, with Dropsuite, the process starts as soon as you log in to that service and start the restore back. So Dropsuite costs about $3 per user per month, and you can get it for everyone, or you can just get it for key staff. Next up, to protect against compromised credentials is the password manager. Password manager helps you safely store your passwords using advanced encryption, and they can automate the sign-in process for you. Why do you need one? Well, why are we all using pet names, kid names, birthdays, countries, our favorite sports teams as our passwords? Well, it starts with the rules of good password management and the complexity it presents. The password don't reuse for different accounts, don't use a sequence of repeated characters, share them, don't store them as contacts in your email. But I've heard people thinking that's safe. Why would people think to look for passwords in a contact? Well, hackers are looking for them there, I'm sure you. Or in a spreadsheet called Passwords XLS, right? The do's, they need to be unique for each account, got to be long, and complexity. So the challenge that presents is the average person has 30 or more online accounts. So 30 or more long, complex, and unique passwords that you've committed to memory. Well, unless you're Rain Man or the Amazing Kreskin, it's impossible, right? It's a wonder most people don't practice good password management. But that password manager is going to help you. The benefits of using it: you don't need to remember multiple passwords for all your different accounts. You only need to remember the one master password to your password manager. Stronger passwords are created and managed for your accounts. Therefore, your security improves significantly, and you also get quick and easy access to all the accounts you've secured using it. Using a password manager is simple. Most of the time, you'll be using it as a browser extension, and they're compatible with all the popular browsers. Once you add the extension and create your account, the password manager starts working for you. Anytime you log into a site that isn't already in your vault, password manager will prompt you to save the site. If you want to get rid of your password spreadsheet in a hurry, you can take an hour to log into all the sites you regularly sign into, but otherwise you can go about your business, and over the course of a week or a month, let the password manager capture all your passwords. And just a quick note, browsers offer to do this natively, but they're not as secure as a password manager. Logging in with a password manager, real easy. Next time you get to the site, the password manager is going to automatically fill in your username and password. There's even an automatic option to have you automatically log in. For low-value accounts, you may want to turn this on. For sensitive or financial accounts, you may want to check your surroundings first before you click sign in. So once you have an easy way to sign into all the websites and they're stored in your vault, we need to now secure them, because that's all we've done is stored the old insecure passwords. So the password manager helps there too. Here I am at the Amazon site. I browse to your account, login in security, change password. And in LastPass, I've chosen the Generate Secure Password tool. And you can see there's this Use Password button down here. But that doesn't always work depending on the website coding, where the form is on the page. The process I use every time is I use the copy password and paste it in both these fields, click Save Changes, and we're done. Password Manager also recognizes my password's been updated for this site and allows me to update it. So here we are. This is a screenshot of the LastPass vault. This is the password manager that we recommend. As you can see, there are over 30 accounts managed by our password manager. They all have unique and strong passwords. The vault is stored securely in the cloud and syncs to each PC you use when you log into the password manager. Most password managers also sync to an app on your phone or tablet, bring the same convenience there. You can also use a password manager to store secure notes. Some examples here are like your family health history, children's social security numbers, credit card numbers. But here's a point I really want to stress. Originally, I started using a password manager to secure my accounts. But now with the auto login feature, I find I primarily enjoy the speed and ease at which I'm accessing all my cloud accounts. No longer am I stopped in the middle of a workflow because I can't remember a password. which causes you to start that dreaded password reset process, right? So now you're waiting for an email, hasn't come yet. Do I click send again? Or you're trying to answer 3 security questions that you set up ages ago. I can't stress this enough. Start using a password manager today. It's easy to get started with, and unlike most things in security that add a step, once you're set up, you're going to never stumble on a website login again. But wait, all my eggs are in one basket. This is a common concern I hear when I speak to people about password managers. And I want to show you there are several features at work to keep it safe. Your vault is protected online with encryption. Your master password decrypts your vault. If a hacker breaks into the online service, they can't read your vault without the master password. So you'll want to use a strong password to protect the vault. You can also turn on location awareness. You'll see this with services like Facebook or LinkedIn. When you sign in from a new web browser or a new computer, they send you an email to confirm that it's you trying to log in. Same thing. You also want to use two-factor authentication, which we'll get into next. And finally, since you now have one master password to protect all your accounts, I want to introduce you to the idea of a passphrase. This passphrase, relation, acting, drizzle, refueling, crossword, is much stronger than a 14-character mixed case symbol password. And after you type it in 10 times or so, you're going to be much closer to remembering it as well. So there's links at the end of the deck where we go into more about passphrase. So you can look that up, or you can always reach out to us and be happy to speak to you. Finally, before we move on, there's an additional benefit of using a password manager to secure your accounts. Say you fall prey to a phishing attack, you click a link urgently directing you to change your banking password due to a data breach. It brings you to a website that looks exactly like your bank, but wait, your password manager isn't filling it out, right? What gives? Well, it gives you a minute to take a closer look and see it's really just a spoofed website. So getting started with a password manager can be a chore. Logging into all your sites and changing all your password could take several hours. But when filling your password manager vault, take your time. Add a couple of accounts a day. Start with your most valuable accounts and change those passwords to make them secure. But again, the important thing is to get started. Use the mobile app at the very least. You can use it to look up the passwords that you type in when you're on a guest computer. You'll have access to your secure notes. Protect your password manager with a 6 or more word passphrase. This is a really important account now, right? And again, at the end of the deck, we've got more links directing you to more information on passphrases. Protect your password manager with location awareness and two-factor authentication, which is a great segue into our final topic, two-factor authentication. This is the most important thing you can do to secure your cloud accounts and data, is to enable two-factor authentication wherever you can. The industry hasn't decided on what exactly to call it, so you'll see it referred to in a couple different ways. But what is it? Two-factor authentication requires 2 of the 3 types of credentials before being able to access an account. It's not 2 passwords. The most common forms of 2 factors are something you know and something that you have. While this may seem like a new concept to people, you have been using it since the 90s. To get money out of an ATM, you use two-factor authentication. You know the PIN and you have the card. In today's digital world, the most popular type of second factor is an authenticator app on your phone. When you log in, the phone prompts you to approve. So you can see all the major services support it. There's no reason not to be using it for these. What makes it so secure? Again, just to really simply state it, even if I have your username and password, if I don't have your phone, I can't get into your account. It's that simple. Again, there's a number of authenticator apps that are out there. We prefer Authy. And setting them up is really straightforward. You would download the Authenticator app onto your device. You would then go to the website and enable two-factor authentication on your account, or as Google and Amazon call it, two-step verification. And then finally, you'll be presented with a QR code on that website. Use your phone's camera to take a picture of that while you're setting up the account. And the Authenticator app is going to give you a 6-digit code to plug back into the website. And that links the two together. You're done. The next time that you log in, you're either going to get a super easy pop-up notification on your mobile device saying to approve or deny the login, or you may have to open the Authenticator app, get the 6-digit code, and plug that code into the website to gain it. But it works. It works every time. I've had two-factor authentication turned on for every account I can for the last 1.5 years now, and it's always worked. I've never had a problem. So we recommend you choose an Authenticator app that allows you to back up your accounts. That's why we recommend Authy. When you're using two-factor, you also want to enable your phone's lock screen and remote wipe abilities, because now it's a key part of your online security. Some accounts only support text as a second factor. We make sure if that's the factor that you're using, call your carrier. Make sure you have a password on the account to prevent unauthorized transfers to a new device. And try to avoid having that phone number listed on social media sites. So that's it.
All right. So before we open our Q&A session, I just want to give a quick reminder. Next Tuesday, we will close out the security portion of our webinar series. So we are excited about next week's session. I'm going to let Stu talk a little bit about it. Again, everyone who is registered for today's event will automatically be enrolled for this webinar, and we hope that you can join us. And Stu, maybe you can provide a little bit more details.
Yeah, sure. You know, at BNC, we've been looking at managed detection and response platforms for well over 3 years now. Everything has always been too expensive. The most extreme example of this is a group called Rapid7 out of Boston. They charge a minimum of $87,000 a year, and they want it up front. And that gets you the service and a dedicated engineer. Well, we're really happy to be working with Perch. They've really brought the price within the reach of many of our clients. In fact, it has been one of the most successful new products we've launched. So I hope you join us in finding out all the benefits that a managed detection and response platform can bring to your business.
Yeah, and I believe we are going to be having a guest speaker from Perch on the call as well, correct?
Yep. Yeah, they'll be around to answer any questions as well.
So we hope you can join us next Tuesday. And with that, we are going to open up our Q&A session. I do have a couple of questions that are in the queue. If you do have a question, I encourage you to just use the chat button located on the bottom center of your screen, and feel free to ask any question. We do have a couple in the queue, Stu, so I'm going to read those to you. The first is, what kind of results do you see from companies that have implemented an awareness training program?
Well, you know, for those that are doing a once-a-year presentation in the conference room, not much, right? People, you know, forget that probably the minute they walk out of the room, if not 30 days later. But when they're using something like KnowBe4, where there's the ongoing testing and the reminder, the fish alert button, where they can actively get involved in spotting these emails, then we have seen clients who initially it drops always around 80 to 90%. There always seems to be a straggler or two that clicks on something. Everybody, we're human, right? It happens. I got caught once. I had done a talk at the senior law conference, and the next day I got a LinkedIn request, and it looked like somebody that I'd spoken to that day. Well, I didn't hover over to check that link. I just said, oh, I'll accept this LinkedIn connection, and I was brought to that page. Think before you click. So, it absolutely, without having seen that, I might have fallen prey to an attack without knowing it. But now, you know, for the next 6 months, I'm going to be extra vigilant. So absolutely.
All right, thanks, Sue. The next question is, do you have a password manager that you recommend?
Yeah, we recommend LastPass as it is highly rated. All the key features are free to use. I have heard from many clients that are heavy Mac users that they prefer Dashlane. But we include a link at the end of the deck to PC Magazine's review of the top 10 password managers. It's a pretty quick read. It'll go over the benefits of both, of all in the top 10. And I also want to point out, you can use a password manager to secure both your work and your personal accounts. There's no, we're talking in a business setting today, but I encourage you to use a password manager everywhere.
All right, great. Do you have any other questions in your queue, Stu?
I don't see any.
All right. Well, if there are no other questions, I guess we will conclude today's presentation. Again, thank you for joining us, and look for an email tomorrow with a copy of the recorded presentation, and we look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, everyone.